Hey, today I'm talking about my top tips for recording guitar for beginners, so let's get into it. First things first, you want to have a really neat session. So I do this both for myself, but also for the other people who are working on my music, the other guitarists in Myoora, as well as like production, other session musicians, and of course mixing and mastering. You want to have a really clean session for everyone. So as you can see, I've got tracking tracks, which is where I record the guitars in there and then I will drag down into the other ones. I've got lead GTR, so lead guitar, and I personally do a little shorthand system, so PC, so pan center, PR, pan right, PL, pan left. So I've also double tracked the rhythms, which I'll talk about in a bit, but I think it's really important that you have a clean session. And also the reason why I have two per part is because I'm using an Axe-Fx, which isn't really exactly what you'll use as an interface, but I've got input 3 for the dry, input 1 for the wet. If you just use a normal interface like a Scarlett or something along those lines, you can usually do input 1 and that will give you the dry guitar tone, and you'll use programs such as Neural DSP to reamp on the go. Second thing I want to talk about is double tracking the rhythms. So you can see here that I've got 4 rhythm lines, so pan right and pan left. So the important thing about rhythms is you want them really thick in the mix, you want them to cut through, but you also don't want them to be too overpowering, so you'll have them both pan right, pan left, you'll have them lower, and then you'll have the lead that cuts through on top of that. So I'm just going to do a quick recording, pan right, pan left, so you can see what I mean. It's also important to mention that tracking is kind of the final part of making your music. Usually demo stage music is often got a lot of mistakes, but when you're tracking, do not settle for anything less than perfect, even if you have to chop up parts to really make it right. When I say chop up, I don't mean splicing, I mean playing parts in segments and piecing it together. Cool, so I'm just doing Command T on Logic, and all of these points are valid for whatever DAW you're using, and there is no right DAW. The correct one is really what works for you. I've tried Cubase, Logic, Pro Tools, and Ableton, and for me Logic has always been the way to go since I came from GarageBands, so I'm kind of used to the system. Okay, now onto the leads. So as you can see, I've got the leads here, pan C, pan center. Leads usually aren't panned unless they're harmonized, and I can talk about that as well in a sec. So it's really important to be conscious of what pickup you're tracking your guitar on. So I've tracked everything here with the bridge pickup, and I will do a lot of cleans with the neck pickup. So I'll just track middle part here, the lead for you. So really basic, nothing too heavy or crazy. So yeah, if I've got this here going through the mix a little bit, just turn these a little down. Sounds fine. I mean, this is really demo level stuff, so I'm going to show you what would happen here if you were to harmonize the lead. It'd be very similar to, I'd of course change the names of the lead to pan right, pan left. So this is how I would kind of do it if I was harmonizing. So yeah, I've got now 2 harmonized leads, very straightforward, nothing too crazy, and here it is all up. And also it's important to mention, change the input when you do a track duplication. There's been a couple times where I've forgotten that, so So overall it doesn't sound too bad. Of course, the things that really matter are these parts here, because this is what engineers are taking. So last thing I want to talk about is the fade in, fade out. So in Logic, I just go to region and I just add in a fade in, fade out. And there you go, you can see on the edges there and there that it's added a fade in and fade out. This is so that when the MIDI, not the MIDI, when the audio goes into the next one, there's no pop or crack. And that's what you want, because when you export all of the dry guitar, you want there to be no mistakes, no errors, so that your mix can come out as best as possible. So hopefully that has been useful. Feel free to ask any questions in the comments, and feel free to mention what DAW you use. I'd be interested to see what everyone is using. So hopefully that was helpful. See ya.